What is up, friends? Welcome back to Ozark Outdoor Brewing. I am so excited for this brew day. Today, I'm brewing up my first New England IPA, NEIPA, juice bomb, fruit blaster, whatever it is you want to call it, that's what I'm brewing today. Here in the Ozarks, you can get some really foggy, some deep, heavy, thick fog in the mornings, and that is my inspiration for this beer. I'm calling it Ozark Fog for a nice, hazy, New England, fruity style IPA. So come along, let's brew some beer. Down in the brew garage today, and it's only going to get hotter whenever we kick this thing off. Before we do that, let's step through the green bill. We've got 75% extra pale malt, 8% flaked oats, and 11% flaked wheat for some mouthfeel, and then 4% carapils and 2% honey malt for a touch of color. As far as the hops go, this one's coming in at a whopping 10.5 ounces when it's all said and done. So bittering addition is very minimal. I've got half an ounce of Warrior at 60 minutes. We're gonna have 1 ounce of Citra at 5 minutes, and then we're doing a hop stand with 2 ounces of Mosaic, 1 ounce of Citra. Then we're gonna dry hop. Once it's in the fermentation chamber, we'll dry hop at day 3 or 4, give or take, at 3 ounces each of Mosaic and Citra. And the yeast is gonna be the WLP 095 Burlington Ale yeast from White Labs. I did make a starter for that, which I'll link that video up here if you've not done that. If you have questions about how to do that, I did use proper yeast starter from Omega Labs. So if you're curious how that works, go and check out that video. When I'm adding my grains, I do love to use the Big Daddy mash paddle. This thing is my favorite, paid for with my own money. You can pick it up at northernbrewer.com. There's probably other places that have it as well. This thing is massive, and it does a fantastic job breaking up all the dough balls and stuff from your grains. So let's go ahead and mash in. Friends, we're mashed in. We're gonna go ahead and cover that up now. Make sure the lid is on nice and tight. Wait for the heat to escape. Of course, we're going to cover this up. I have my trusty wool blanket here that's going to go over as the first level of insulation. And then the second, yep, you guessed it, it's a sleeping bag. Right over the top of that. And then we got 2 bungee cords. I've got a smaller one that goes around the top here. Bunch that together. The larger one that I have is gonna go around the bottom where it's a little bit thicker. All right, we're mashed in. Start a timer for an hour. Friends, from everything that I've read, all the videos that I've watched about brewing a New England IPA, there are 2 things that can really impact your beer. The first, oxygen. You wanna limit the amount of oxygen that comes in contact with your beer. Once we get this into the fermenter, that's going to be closed up. I am dry hopping with some sous vide magnets and bag inside the fermenter, so I can pull those magnets. The hops will drop on the day that I need it to. Don't have to open. I don't have to introduce oxygen to the beer while it's fermenting. I will also be doing a closed transfer, right, from that fermenter into the keg. So those 2 things will limit any oxygen, oxygenation, whatever you want to call it, touching the beer. I'm covered there. The second thing is water chemistry. I'm not into that yet. I don't have any brewing salts, as they're called, anything like that. We're gonna see how this goes with the NEIPA. The next time I brew one, I definitely want to get into the brewing salts, and I want to make sure that I've got my water chemistry right. I'm 1 for 2. I'm 50% on. We'll see how it goes. Pulled. We've had the heat back on here. We're trying to get to about 212, right? We want to get this to boiling. There you can kind of see the hot break happening. We've got a good head of foam, and that is, now hang on a minute here. This is gonna have to Wait a sec. They always say you can spray it or stir it. Either way, it's coming up right there. So I'm just gonna watch it. I don't want anything stupid. All right, so we know we're at boiling. We want to go ahead and just crank this heat back a little bit because we just want to keep a good slow rolling boil. I'm gonna go ahead and stir this just to knock down the head of that beer right there. We'll kind of monitor that to see how it's going. Right off the rip, we're gonna go ahead and drop in the hop spider. I've got 1/2 ounce of Warrior hops. That goes in right here at the boil. Here we go, 1/2 ounce. Like I mentioned, the bittering hops, like that right there, are minimal. That is it until I get to 5 minutes left in the boil, where I'm gonna add 1 ounce of Citra, maybe? I'd have to go back and look. I got the Brew Father open. Yes, 1 ounce of Citra. All right, friends, there we go. That is 1 hour. We're going to turn that off. Now it's time to get in and do our hop stand. I have 1 ounce of Citra that's going to go in right here. Also, I don't think that I mentioned it, but the 2 ounces of Mosaic that's going in now is whole cone or whole hop. No, this is not the Big Chief Express that's gonna blindfold you with dental floss. This is actually whole cone hops that's gonna go in right now. We're just gonna add that in and then stir it up just a little bit. All right, we're gonna let that set until it gets to about 180 degrees and then we'll start circulating to cool this thing down. All right, friends, we're ready to transfer this from the boil kettle down into the fermenter. So I do have my bouncer inline filter here. I'm just gonna go ahead and screw that on nice and tight. Before I do that, one good spray. That goes to there. I'm gonna open this bad boy up and let's transfer this beer. All right, friends, we have the yeast starter that I created a couple days ago. I also have a magnet here that's pulling up the internal spin bar that I had there as well. We're gonna go ahead and pitch this. I do have my dry hops, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slip these just inside the lid here, and I'm going to add the magnet. There's one. Go ahead and there's two. All right, those are not interfering with each other. Ozark Fog is in the fermenter, ready to add to the fermentation chamber. Stay tuned. Cannot wait to see how this beer turns out. If you're not already, please consider subscribing. That always helps us out. And smash that bell so you get a notification every time we post a video here on Ozark Outdoor Brewing. And remember, drink responsibly.